Hello, friends. So we will talk today. My struggle to learn English. My name is Sophie.
I am Amitabh Bachchan.
Hey, Jake. I've noticed you've been taking a lot of English classes lately. How's that going for you?
Hi, Sophie. Oh, it's been quite a challenge, to be honest. I'm making progress, but sometimes it feels like I'm not getting anywhere.
I totally understand. Learning a new language can be really tough. I've been trying to improve my English too, and it's been a struggle. What's been the hardest part for you?
For me, it's definitely the grammar. I get confused with all the rules and exceptions. Sometimes I think I've understood a concept. Then I see an exception to the rule and it throws me off.
Grammar can be really tricky. I've found that the irregular verbs are the hardest part. I keep mixing up went and gone, or had and have. It feels like there are so many rules to remember.
Yes, exactly. And then there's pronunciation. Sometimes I can't get the hang of how to say certain words correctly. Frustrating when I know what I want to say, but I don't pronounce it right and people don't understand me.
I've struggled with pronunciation too. I've been practicing by listening to native speakers and trying to mimic their accents. It helps a bit, but I still make mistakes. I've also tried recording myself to see how I sound.
Recording yourself is a good idea. Haven't tried that yet, but I'll give it a shot. Another thing that's been hard for me is understanding idiomatic expressions. I never know what people mean when they use phrases like kick the bucket or break the ice.
Idioms can be really confusing, especially since they don't make literal sense. I've started writing down the idioms I hear and looking them up later. It's a good way to learn their meanings and how to use them.
That's a smart approach. I've been trying to read more in English to get used to different expressions and vocabulary. It's a bit overwhelming sometimes, though, because there's so much to learn.
Reading is definitely helpful. I've been reading books and articles, but I find it hard to keep up with the pace. Sometimes I have to look up every other word, which slows me down.
I know what you mean. It can be discouraging when you have to constantly check the dictionary. I've been trying to focus on understanding the context instead of translating every word. Seems to help with fluency.
Understanding context is a good strategy. I've also been trying to practice speaking more often. I joined a language exchange group where I can talk with native speakers and practice my English.
That sounds like a great idea. I've been thinking about joining a conversation club, finding a language partner. It's so important to practice speaking and listening in real-life situations.
Definitely. I find that practicing with others helps build my confidence. It's easier to make mistakes when you're with people who are understanding and supportive.
I agree. I've also been trying to think in English instead of translating from my native language. It's a bit challenging, but I think it's helping me become more fluent.
Thinking in English is a great technique. I've found that it really helps with my overall language skills. Sometimes I even try to dream in English, but that's still a work in progress.
Dreaming in English sounds like a great goal. I think that means we're making real progress. It's encouraging to think that we're moving towards fluency, even if it feels slow sometimes.
Yes, progress can be slow, but every little bit helps. I try to remind myself of how much I've improved since I started learning English. It's important to celebrate the small victories.
Absolutely. I've started keeping a journal of my progress, noting down what I've learned and how I've improved. It helps me stay motivated and see how far I've come.
A journal is a great idea. I've been setting small goals for myself, like learning a certain number of new words each week or finishing a book. It keeps me focused and gives me a sense of accomplishment.
Small goals are really effective. I've also been watching English language movies and TV shows with subtitles. It's a fun way to improve my listening skills and pick up new vocabulary.
That's a good approach. I've started doing the same, and it's amazing how much you can learn just by watching. Sometimes I even try to repeat lines from the movies to practice my pronunciation.
Repeating lines is a great technique. It's like practicing with a native speaker. I've been doing something similar with songs. Singing along helps me with pronunciation and rhythm.
Singing along is a fun way to practice. I've found that music helps with remembering phrases and words. Plus, it's a nice break from more formal study methods.
Exactly. It's important to keep the learning process enjoyable. If we can find ways to make it fun, it doesn't feel like such a struggle.
I couldn't agree more. Staying positive and finding enjoyable ways to practice can make a big difference. We just need to keep going, and eventually it will all start to come together.
Yes, persistence is key. We'll get there, one step at a time. It's nice to know we're not alone in this struggle. Talking to others who are going through the same thing is really reassuring.
Absolutely. It's great to share experiences and tips. We're both making progress, and it's important to support each other along the way.
Sure. Thanks for the chat, Sophie. Been really helpful to talk about this.
Anytime, Jake. Let's keep pushing forward and continue to support each other.
Definitely. See you around.
Be you.